Today's word vitamin is on problems. None of us really love them, but we've all got them. And in a multifaceted life, problems can show up in any area: emotional, intellectual, physical, spiritual, sexual, relationships, health, across the board. Our problems fall into two categories: living problems or survival problems. Now, survival problems are of course critical because they're about our safety on the planet, food, shelter, safety. Now, for those that have been exposed to more than their fair share of survival problems in life, what can often happen is they get stuck in survival mode. And you often hear me use the metaphor of a turtle, a tortoise shell, for talking about the masculine and feminine, or our ego and our heart. Now, regardless of our gender, if we're the whole deal, the whole tortoise, turtle, you know what I mean. We've got the soft feminine, the underbelly, which is our capacity to sit with and process emotion, and the shell, which is the ego, which we take out into the world to protect our heart. And Jung spoke about ego in as much as we spend the first half of our life developing an ego, because we know a little child to leave home and go to school has to have a shell. They've got to be able to stand up and speak up and not take everything to heart. So Freud says we spend the first half of our life, or Jung, one of them, first half of our life building an ego, the second half of our life dismantling the ego. Now, some people's egos are thicker, stronger, more robust, more resilient than others. And most of the people that come and work with me, when it comes to their ego, they are resilient. They have survived more than most. They are warriors. They are courageous. They may be physically impressive, beautiful, athletic, intellectually impressive. However, behind closed doors, they're emotionally malnourished. Their heart has such a heavy ego on top of it that the ego outweighs the heart all the time. Now, for a healthy life to live, our heart has to have equal say to our ego. It needs to be a partnership, not a dictatorship. Now, when people's hearts dictate every decision they make, you know, I've got clients that have done so much emotional work, they can meditate until they levitate. However, they can't earn a living and they're unable to stand up for themselves and develop personal boundaries and roll with rough and tumble everyday life issues. So, if we're having a look at problems today, are yours survival problems? Are you still in warrior mode? Are you still making sure your tough shell always comes first and not allowing anybody to get close to your heart? Or are they living problems? And living problems are problems that are a byproduct. I call them luxury problems. Being somebody who was a recovering drug addict, alcoholic, who grew up in an emotional war zone, survival problems were what I faced for the first, up until adolescence. And then when I became an adult, I just remained at war with the world and just kept that ego armory up. And I used weapons of mass distraction. I mean, drugs, alcohol, sex, food, spending, they can all be weapons of mass distraction in order to keep our ego and our shell hard and keep ourselves protected. However, there comes a time, and midlife is either a crisis or a celebration, where we actually become willing to be vulnerable and surrender our ego. And survival problems get replaced by living problems, and living problems are all about how to make room for more love, how to relax. I was a person that found relaxing stressful, and how to be known for all of who we are. So, if you're a warrior, not a worrier, a warrior, somebody who lives in their ego and in their shell and is not comfortable being vulnerable, today's word vitamin might have some tidbits for you to consider. And one last thing to perhaps digest before I sign off, and that is a bad day for our ego can be a beautiful and a healing day for our heart if we allow it. Food for thought. See ya.